My name's Carrie. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you checking out my channel. This is where I talk about all the things crafty and creative that I get into. Mostly it's knitting and quilting, but today I'm also going to show you some cross stitch. It's been a while. Hopefully I've put a little explanation of it in the beginning so you all know why. And right now Violet is chewing on a bone and is content, and I know where she is and not getting into trouble, and so hopefully this will work. I've got a new quilt on the long arm, and I thought I'd tell you about that. You'll see more of it when it's done, but there it is. So that's a quilt I made several years ago. I had seen this pattern called Zen Chic. I think I may have gotten the pattern on Fat Quarter Shop, but I'm not sure. And it's by Brioche. Anyway, it's a paper piece pattern, and I just thought it looked really cool. So I decided to make it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to kind of branch out and use like a neutral as a background. And once I got it finished, oh, and I also bought a layer cake. So a layer cake is will have every fabric in a designer's line in all the colors and all that stuff in 10 by 10 squares. And I thought, well, that's basically all I needed for that. And I got it, and I didn't really like the fabrics. And I thought, okay, let me just make it anyway, because maybe once it's all done, it's going to look really different. And I still don't like the quilt. I like the design of it. I'm just not super happy with the fabric choices. So it has sat in the closet for quite a while, needing to be quilted. My idea for it when I first started was it's going to have all this negative space that I can do all this fun quilting with. And then in the meantime, I've just lost the joy of trying to figure all that stuff out, and physically it's just difficult for me to do anymore. And so it's just sat because I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't want to use it. And, you know, then what do? You've put a lot of money and time into it. And so a friend of mine was over not too long ago and said that she'd like to have it. So I'm going to finish it and give it to her. I think she still wants it. I'll check with her. It's been a little while. Yeah, I was going to get it done a long time ago, and then I had all the dog issues happening and a new puppy. So new puppies take up lots and lots and lots of time. And I'm just now trying to figure out ways to, she seems to be able to be babysat or occupied a little bit so that I can find some time to do what I need to do creatively, because it's been a struggle. I'm not a happy person unless I'm making stuff and just getting in that, having that creative outlet, and I haven't been able to do that for a couple of months. So I'm coming back to it, and I thought, let me see if I can get this loaded. Now, it took me nearly a week to just get the backing ironed, just because of puppy time. And this morning, for some reason, she fell asleep and stayed asleep for as long as it took me to make the backing and get it loaded on the machine, which was huge. I mean, like, really huge. So that was exciting. I've got it loaded. It's ready to go. I'm just going to do a pantograph on it to get the quilting done, because that's just how it's going to have to be to get it finished. And I'll get the binding on and send it to my friend. She lives in Colorado now, so hopefully she still wants it. If not, I'll find somebody that does. So I'm also going to be, at the end of April, going away with some friends to do our little weekend like quilt retreat, and I haven't done that in a very long time. So in the next, I don't know, guess month until I go, I've got to get figured out what I'm going to work on. And so I've got some projects. I've got some quilts that are partially done that that I can work on, but I need to get some things cut and ready, because when I go to these retreats, it's too hard to really spread out like you'd like to spread out to cut stuff, and you really have to pay attention, and so you get distracted and there's talking, and so it's easier if I have everything cut and ready to go, so that all I have to do is just go and do some piecing and sit and do that. So I'm going to bring a quilt that that I'm working on, maybe a couple, and then I'll bring my knitting and stuff, and just have the weekend with my friends and kind of get away and do that. So one of the things I did, excuse me, one of the things I did in preparation for it is a little tip that my friend Jenny told me about. And you take fiberboard. So this is not fiberboard, foam core board. So it's super light. It's just, I can't show you what the edge looks like, but it's foam core. So I just had this piece. I glued on a piece of batting with just some glue. What did I use? I don't know. I used some glue and just glued it to the back. Nothing fancy. And so now I've got this board that's got a nappy sort of surface. So as I cut things, I can lay out all my pieces that I need, and as you put things together and sew things together, and then you need to take it to the ironing surface or whatever, it doesn't just go flying around. It kind of sticks to this batting that's on here. So with the quilt that I'm going to work on, which is called Forest Friends, and I've shown it in previous episodes, it's got, each block that you make has a lot of little pieces, and so you've got little stacks of all these little pieces. So I'll use this board, put all my pieces on it so that it keeps them all together, and so then as I'm putting it together, I can grab A goes to B, and however it is that the piecing goes together. So that's ready to go. Now I just need to cut my pieces out. So just watching Violet, making sure she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. Another thing that I started is I started a new cross stitch project. So let me show you that. And that is, I saw this designer, found this designer on Instagram. I think I just started following the hashtag embroidery or something like that, or cross stitch or something, and so I found this designer, and then she had this pattern. It's called Yin Yang, and it's by Stitch Rovia, and I found her on Etsy. So I will put the link to her site, to her Etsy shop in the description box below, and that way anything I talk about, any other patterns or anything I talk about, I'll put down there. So I decided to try my hand at even weave. So this is what I got, and I ordered this, and I think I ordered this actually off Amazon, but the pattern gave you all the colors that you need, and I thought I could drive 40 minutes over to where Joann's is and hope that they have all the colors. A lot of times I find that they don't. And it's hard to know just by a number what would be closest to it. It's like, is it green, or it could have shifted colors? Like your numbers go along and then all of a sudden it changes what color it is, if that makes any sense. So I got online and I found on embroidery.com, I ordered all my floss. It was the same price as you'd get on Joann's. I have to rescue a bone. Hold on a moment. Okay, sorry about that. She'll be occupied for just a little bit longer, so I need to get going on this. So anyway, I decided to try my hand at this even weave stuff. So I got a 28 count, which on this even weave, the holes are tinier. And so you skip, you stitch over two holes basically. And it's equivalent to a 14 count, like Aida cloth. I'm not sure that I'm liking it a whole lot. This is what I've got done so far. So I don't know if you can see how tiny those holes are. So the holes are really tiny, and I'm having a hard time seeing it. It's very difficult for me to work on at night, even though I've got a really good like light where I sit. The holes are just really tiny, and so it's going really slow. Cross stitch is already a pretty slow craft. And I'm just not sure it's worth it for me, because I don't really care. I mean, I don't know that it's going to give me, the only thing that's going to look different, I think, is that any of the cloth that shows behind it, the fabric will look, the holes are, I don't know how to describe it. The holes are smaller, so the fabric will look nicer, I guess. But stitching it is kind of difficult. And so I find that I don't pick it up as often because I can't just do it real quickly. I put it on this scroll system. It's just something I've had from the past when I did cross stitch a lot. And rather than using a hoop and then you just scroll it up as you go. So I started, this is the top. This is like here that I'm starting. So I don't know. I enjoy cross stitch. I just am not enjoying really having to focus, and I'll end up taking it out more often than I usually do because I find I didn't skip a hole or I skipped too many holes, and it's just not as obvious. I may start this over. This is several hours worth of work, believe it or not, and so it's a shame to think of starting it over, but I'm barely starting, and if I'm already feeling frustrated to the point where I don't enjoy working on it, I'm probably not going to end up finishing it, and I really do like the finished product. So I'm going to switch it to my 14 count Aida cloth. It's what I've always used. I'm always happy with my end product. I don't have any of my cross stitch projects because anything I made in the past went as gifts to other people, so this will be for me. I am keeping it in this cool little bag that a friend of mine made and gave it to me for Christmas. It's pretty cool. She's got pockets for me on the outside. She's put there's a firm bottom that she's used. And so I've got, here's the chart for the cross stitch. So I'm just crossing it off with pen, and that's going to be hard if I'll have to figure it out. I may have to reprint or just use a different color maybe, because I've already crossed some out, and if I start over, how am I going to know where I am? I'll figure it out. So I've got my little box of floss that it's for this project. This is a thing. I don't know if this is even something that you can get anymore. I've had it forever. And what it is it helps you wind your bobbins. So you put your floss from the spool, so you get floss like this, and you unwind it and you wind it on a bobbin, just a cardboard bobbin. Put the number on it so that when you're referring to a number, you know what you're going to do. This little thing, let's see, you stick your bobbin in this little slot. You've got a pin that holds the hole, and then you just put this little thing on the dividers of your box, and you just wind it up like you would have your floss, and you just crank it and wind it up. It's cool if you're into cross stitch or embroidery or anything. I hope that they're still around because this is a pretty cool little thing. And then so I wound all my little bobbins, and I have it in this little case that's holding just the project colors that I need, and have it in my little box. All right, so let's get into some knitting. Knitting wise, I did pick up an old project. We're talking really old. Now, February was 3 years since I started the podcast, and I remember talking about this when I first started and showing where I was with this project back then, and I haven't touched it since. So it's been at least 3 years. It was probably even a year before that since I touched it, and it is the Hue Shift blanket. It's a pattern by Knit Picks. I don't have the cover. I'll put the cover photo up here. When it first came out, I got the pattern, and the pattern was free at the time. Printed it off, got started on the blanket, put it aside, and I don't know where my pattern is. Well, now you can't get the pattern for free. You have to pay for it. So I had to buy the pattern. But here's the schematic, and I am working, as you can see, it's like in fours. So I'm working on this square right here. I'm coming up and doing this column right here now. So it's very bright, and this is where it is. So see, I'm coming up here. I worked on it at knit night, and I have a feeling I did the square wrong because it just doesn't seem right. It kind of flares out, and it should be really straight. So I may have to undo that square. That's super fun. So anyway, I did pick this up. Somebody showed on Instagram their blanket, and I'm like, I gotta dig that out again. And so it inspired me to take it out. I thought it would be kind of something easy. It's just garter stitch. It should be pretty easy, but clearly I forgot how to do this center decrease because I think my marker was off. I don't know. So now I have to rip that square out, but I am picking it up and working on it. So hopefully that'll get done. Did you go hide your bone? I can't figure out where you want to go. I don't know what she wants. So I really just needed some, I think she may have to go to the bathroom. So hang on just really quick. Okay, I think she might be good for a little while. We'll see. Some other knitting I did. I had worked on my cranberry goes. Maybe it's goes. I looked up the word. It's G-O-S-E, and it's like a fermented beer or something. So I don't know why the sweater is named that. But I got both the front and back done, and it's blocking. It probably dry by now, but I'm letting it make sure it's really dry. And then I have to seam up the shoulders and then pick up to do the neck and like some ribbing on the sleeves. So people, I had asked kind of like what kind of neck was I talking about on the last episode, and it seems that it's a funnel neck that I'm looking for. I guess a mock turtle, because I wasn't sure if it was called a mock turtle or not. A mock turtle just is like a short, and that's not what I was looking for. The pattern shows, when you're reading it, it says it's a funnel neck, but the picture looks like it's a big heavy turtleneck. So I got to seam it. Some people sent me some information on how to figure that out, and I appreciate that. I'm going to take that information and finish it. But it's on the blocking board right now, so I don't have it. So I worked on that. Something else I picked up, I had these two skeins of MCN in my stash. This is Fire in the Sky, and this wasn't named. This was, I don't even know what this was for. And they went together. I kind of wanted to do brioche. So I just started this brioche cowl called Brioche for Beginners. It's a free pattern on Ravelry by Emma Galati. And so it's just a big brioche cowl. And so I started it. I haven't picked it up in a little while. But there's that side, and underside is the purple. So I don't know how deep I want to make it, and I can't try it on unless I put it on waste yarn, and I'm too lazy to do that because then I have to put it back on the needles, and I don't want to do that. But it might be getting there. Maybe a little bit. I'll go a little bit further. Really easy. If you haven't done brioche before, this is a really good way to do it. I messed up when I was first, because it's in the round, first several rows. I'm like, I wasn't understanding what you're supposed to do when because you're knitting along with one color and then you switch to your other color, and I was doing something funky that gave it this nice design element. But now I got my shit together and it's going straight. So, it's looking better. So now, did you need something? Use your words. What do you need? So this is a work in progress. A little bit further I'll go, and then I'll bind it off, and I'll just have this nice squishy cashmere MZN cowl. One thing I wasn't too happy with, and it's just from handling it, is this like fuzzy. It already looks like it needs to get shaved. And so I was going to make a sweater out of some MCN that I have, and I thought, I know that people say that the MCN will pill really bad, and I think that the staple length of the cashmere is short enough that it does this, and I thought, that's on a sweater, that would drive me crazy. So once this is done, this is going to have to get gleaned, and but I'll still wear it. I'll wear it in the wintertime. Now we're getting into warmer weather because spring has finally decided to come. You doing okay still? Okay. Give me a thumbs up. Oh, that's right. You don't have a thumb. Darn it. Another project that I thought that I should start, because why not? I had talked about this yarn that I had over dyed, and I was going to make a sweater with it. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do. It's fingering weight. And then I just was like, a fingering weight sweater. I like the lightness, the thinness of it, or the lightness of it, but it just really takes a long time. And I was afraid this might be too bright. Like, I like it, and I think it might be really bright. So I thought, what if I double stranded it with undyed yarn? I did a wraps per inch to see what I got, and I got 9 wraps per inch, which is like a lighter end of worsted, but it's worsted. And it's knit together, so I did a swatch, and I love it. So I think it just kind of tones down the brightness of the pink, but yet I still get the pink color. And the undyed, see the lights in here look like it's really picking up the light color, but the undyed is an MCN. So I thought stranding it with the 4-ply fingering weight yarn, I think we'll keep it from feeling too fuzzy like the brioche cowl was. It feels very soft, and I think it'll just be a nice sweater. So what I'm going to do, I've had this in my library forever, and I still really like it. So I'm going to make the Harvest by Tin Can Knits. It's a cardigan, and it's only, you have the option of doing one buttonhole, just kind of like, she's got a pin in it, but there's instructions for doing a buttonhole with a big button right there, and I may do that. So it's just been bugging me to just try it and see. And so the other day, Michelle and Lori had come over and just came over and hung out and knit. And I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to work on. So I was talking about the Harvest cardigan. So I am going to start it. I did actually start it. And you start with the collar. And I was doing it wrong, so I had to take it out. So that's okay, because it gave me a chance to actually wash or like wet block my swatch. And so I've got gauge with the size needle that they talked with. So I think that'll be a really fun sweater for the winter. So nothing like starting a worsted weight sweater in the spring and summer, but that's okay. And I am going to probably actually just end it here, because I think I've lost my window of opportunity with Violet. So I think she wants to go hide her bone. So funny. So anyway, I hope this wasn't too disjointed. Thank you so much to everybody that has sent kind words and thoughts. Kat, thank you so much. You've made a big difference. Yeah. So we're coming back into the swing of things. The weather's getting nice. It's sunny today, so we're going to spend some time outside. And so hopefully I'll get this edited today or tomorrow. I'm on spring break this week, so that's good. I hear you. Super sad. Let me get her just. Oh my goodness, you hear it? So sad. She just needs a lap. She's whining because she wants to cuddle. Oh, you just need a lap. Okay. I can't resist that. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Violet says goodbye. Hopefully I will be able to record again in a couple of weeks, and I'll hopefully have that quilt finished for you. So until then, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later.